and I do hope that you can go back after you have deliberated on this report and agreed on strategies. You can go back to your various institutions and help to make the necessary changes required.
Head of Financial Stability at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Joseph France, said the bank will continue to collaborate with financial institutions to address customer complaints.
We have framework that we feed this one in to see what gauge we have and how are the banks and the institutions that we regulate addressing this. We have our men who do on-site and off-site examination of banks to see whether some of these things are being addressed, what mechanism, what structures, how have they improved these structures to address some of this. So we do a follow-up on on-site examinations as well, having them, and we issue strong reports to institutions. Recalcitrant, of course, will be sanctioned for not addressing the issues that has come up. So basically, that's what we do to follow through so that we see institutions following through with recommendations that they themselves would have come out with.
The workshop was under the theme Effective Complaint Management, a sure way to boost public confidence and enhance patronage of financial services and products.
And to one big story we are following up for you. The Independent Power Producers has confirmed receipt of payment from the Electricity Company of Ghana as part of commitment made on June 30th. Now, the payment, according to the power producers, serves as a testament to the collaborative efforts between the IPPs and ECG in ensuring the stability and sustainability of Ghana's energy sector. Now, the IPPs commended the ECG for upholding its promise and promptly settling its financial obligations. It added that the IPPs value the transparent and constructive partnership with the ECG and remain dedicated to contributing their expertise and resources to bolstering Ghana's power generation capabilities. Let's go on Zoom and speak to the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Independent Power Producers, Eliklim Petogbo, for more on this. Eliklim, good to know you are on with us. First off, I guess this is good news for your members, right? Unmute for me, sir. All right, so I'm asking that definitely this is a good news for your members.
Exactly, it's a good news for us. We are happy about it.
And we know that the statement you issued didn't disclose the amount, but can you tell us what is currently outstanding?
Well, I will not speak to the exact figures on the outstanding, but what I can say is that the arrangement that ECG put in place is quite impressive, even though we expect them to do better going forward. Under the cash waterfall system, we are barely paid about 2.5% of our invoices, but ECG is almost doing ×4 of what we were receiving. So I think that is impressive, and we expect this to be sustained and improved upon going forward.
I guess indeed going forward, it is the pledge by the ECG to progressively clear the debt, right?
Exactly.
Now, can we confidently say that for now, consumers will not get disturbing news of threats to shut down power supply to the ECG by your chamber?
They should relax. We will sustain our operation and the lights will be on for everyone.
That's an assurance you're giving.
We should just join our hands to support ECG, everyone to pay their bills on time. Let's avoid illegal connections for ECG to gather the revenue and pay us so that all of us will be fine.
I guess the remainder of the arrears wouldn't warrant any threats.
Not at all. The issue is about remaining current with the current invoices is a good way to go. Arrangements have been made that for the arrears to be settled as well. So we are on standby for this issue of our power sector. How do we say? Maybe a threat on withdrawing our services. We don't want to be in the news for that again.
We are all hoping that indeed we wouldn't hear such bad news. But thank you very much, Eli Prima Petogbo, for your time here on Business Live, giving us more updates on the latest in regards to the settlement of debt owed them. Now, over 90% of cocoa bills have been tendered for exchange in the new Government of Ghana debt exchange program. This has been described by some financial observers as a huge success for the state as it looks forward to use the proceeds to finance other cocoa purchases. Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, disclosed this at the International Taxation Conference in Accra. Here's more. The government announced the exchange of almost 8 billion cedis to refinance cocoa purchase for the next season as Cocoa Board makes arrangement to raise more funds. According to the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Amin Adam, it has been successful and a signal of some recoveries to be made in the domestic market.
We have been extremely successful with the current tendering of more than 90% for cocoa bills of 7.9 billion cedis and US dollar exchange of $809 million. And detailed announcements will flow through when the settlements are done.
Speaking on the country's revenue mobilization drive, economist at the Institute for Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Charles Aka, urged government to pay attention to export-driven commodities in order to improve foreign earnings.
Need to have a discussion on how to go back to the situation where the Asian countries are, where the trade balance is positive, meaning that government is investing in industrialization, import substitution, so that we eat what we produce and stop our import dependence, and then we export more to get more revenue and get more remittances so that we can pay for our import without going to the international capital market.
More on the domestic debt exchange program, and the Finance Ministry has assured that it is committed to honoring all future payment obligations for the new domestic debt exchange bonds. The assurance was captured in a statement issued by the ministry. This was after it released 2.4 billion cedis on Tuesday to settle the coupons on the papers. It added that the restructured bonds should form the basis for rapid recovery of the economy. Now, the Finance Ministry also believes that this action by government will help in ensuring a credible and strong domestic securities trading on the market. Let's get on to Zoom and speak to Eli Plimi Abloyo, who is a professor of finance at the University of Ghana Business School, for more on this. Eli Plimi, grateful you could join me on Business Live. What do you make of this assurance by the Ministry of Finance on coupon payment of these new bonds?
Okay, so good evening and good evening to your cherished viewers. I think that the statement is reassuring. It is in the right direction. It provides reassurance for investors. And given what has taken place, it's important that the government rebuilds trust. So the press release is in the right direction. And trust will be rebuilt and enhanced as the government continues to pay. So this is the first coupon that they have to pay. If they pay subsequent ones, it would improve confidence in the market.
All right.
I also think that they should provide similar assurances to holders of the old bonds. Okay, I heard Dr. Edouanani entry recently calling for that. I haven't seen a press statement or release to that effect. So I think they should provide similar assurances to holders of the old bonds as well.
Looking at government's current financial position, really, should we take this assurance with a pinch of salt?
Well, it depends on a lot of factors, many factors that will play out in the future. So, first of all, default is a function of willingness to pay and ability to pay. I think by issuing this press statement, the government is reaffirming its willingness to pay. Okay, but obviously, ability to pay is also very important. And to enhance the ability to pay, there are a number of things that they need to do. We should continue on the path of fiscal consolidation, trying to improve revenue and reducing expenditure. This is even more important as we approach an election year in 2024, where governments are usually tempted to spend to win votes, basically. Again, they need to do proper cash flow management. If they do that, it will make it easier for them to meet their coupon and principal obligations. there are two key factors that can either enhance or detract from their ability to pay. So first of all, if we are able to complete the external debt restructuring, that will provide some fiscal space for the government. That will improve our ability to pay maturing bonds and coupons as well. However, let me say on the downside, now that they can't easily take money from the Bank of Ghana, given the agreement for zero financing, that will constrain their ability to pay.
What could be the impact of this payment on the market in terms of confidence, and should we expect some reaction as well from rating agencies?
So, yeah, I think that is good news to the market. At least this provides a first indication that they would be willing to meet their obligations. For the rating agencies, I think they'll be looking at not just this current payment, but what continues in the future. So if the government continues to pay, then obviously they are willing to maintain or increase our credit rating. However, if we see a default in the future, then we may experience further credit downgrades.
I'd want to pick your thoughts on this. What are your expectations for the second round of the domestic debt exchange program, which involves the domestic dollar bonds as well as cocoa bills and pension funds?
Okay, so I think that is going quite well. The government has been able to engage a lot of the stakeholders, and at least I think that on the labor front, one of the labor unions are willing to participate. Yeah, and I just heard before I joined that they are getting about 90% for the cocoa bill. So I think that is encouraging news.
If we are able to successfully complete this debt exchange program, really, could it impact positively on the economy, you would say?
Yeah, so I think we're almost done with the domestic leg. That has been, let me say, largely successful. Of course, the government overstated some of the numbers previously. If we're able to complete the external restructuring, that's very key. There's about, I think, 10 billion or so to be restructured there. That would also enhance the government's revenues and financial condition, and that will have a very big impact on the economy. If the government is doing well in terms of its finances, it has a direct impact on the economy. We will see interest rates coming down because the government doesn't need to borrow a lot from the market, and that will help businesses to borrow and improve production in the economy.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Elik Primabloyo, speaking to us there on Business Live. You're still watching Business Live. It is. Let's take some breather. I'll be right back with more. Hello, welcome back. Some retail managers at East Legon have been arrested by the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service for some tax infractions. The infractions, which include failure to register for VAT and selective issuance of VAT receipts after purchase, were described as unlawful under the country's tax laws. Here's more.
The exercise is part of the ongoing operations by the Ghana Revenue Authority to ensure all businesses obey the tax laws of the country. Among the managers busted for failing to issue the VAT receipts are Aqua Space, Dealers in Swimming Pool Materials, 69 Bridge Enterprise, Rosie's Collection, and others. According to Assistant Commissioner in charge of enforcement at Accra Central, Joseph Annan, companies must make the move to register and pay their VAT before the GRA embark on an operation to apprehend them.
All these, reps from these companies have been picked up, and the CID is taking them to the office to take their statements. We will make sure that they are registered. We will also assess them preemptively. And then once they are registered, the law talks about going back to when they were supposed to have registered. So if they were supposed to have registered 3 years ago and they failed to do so, then once we register them, we are going back to when they were supposed to have registered, and then we'll assess them from that time to date. So that is what is going to happen to those who are not registered. So it's better for you to register on your own, because when we come, then we'll have to go back to when you were supposed to have registered. And ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Mr. Anand disclosed to journalists that the authority has begun a strategy to go after businesses in the night economy. He believes it's a thriving sector of the economy that must be checked well.
VAT is suffering. Obviously, it's to be expected that they will not be treating the other tax types right. But for the night market economy, what our officers are doing is to do full compliance. So when they go in there, they'll check PAYE, they'll check CIT, they'll check VAT, all other tax that are applicable to a particular taxpayer. And once you are found foul of the law, then the appropriate sanctions will be meted out to you.
All tax defaulters will be prosecuted and made to face the law accordingly.
Now, the Bulsa North Municipal Assembly in the Upper East region has presented startup equipment to 38 hairdressers, seamstresses and tailors who have completed their apprenticeships to enable them start their own businesses. The presentation was made under the Support for Self-Employable Skills project, which is part of the Assembly's local development agenda. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
Kits included 19 manual sewing machines, 2 electric sewing machines, 10 hair dryers, and 9 sets of luxury hair washing facilities. They were acquired and presented to these newly trained hairdressers, seamstresses, and tailors to enable them set up their own businesses, generate income for themselves and their families, and hopefully take on some new apprentices. Municipal Chief Executive for Bulsa North, Vida Anap, said the provision of the startup kits was under the Support for Self-Employable Skills project, which is part of government's local development agenda.
The purpose is to help the youth to continue with the work they are already doing. Those who are starting, they should use this in learning the skill, and those who are finished can continue using it, the machine, the sewing machine, and then the tailors to help themselves. And with that one, the poverty level will reduce because there are a lot of challenges within the communities here. Government cannot really go around and give everybody money. But then, if you are a skillful person, you are self-employed, like a tailor, so what I'm wearing is 100 Ghana. The tailor who showed it, and she's among them, she collected 100 Ghana. So you can imagine in a day, you show this about 3 or 4 and see the money you are making. And so for that matter, at least that person has also got dependents, he has got his own children and so on, mothers and so on, can use that one to support the family. And then also those who are still training can also use the items, the equipment to help themselves.
She said the items were worth 93,776 Ghana cedis and were sponsored from the Municipal Assembly's Common Fund. It is hoped that this initiative will encourage more Bulsa North municipality youth to acquire employable skills in the vocational sector.
We've targeted 1 million Ghana cedis to use it. Again, we want to train the masons. Those who are already there, will support them with their equipment. Those who are training, yet into training, will support them with the equipment. That is masons, those doing welding, those doing tiles, and those doing, some kind of skillful job. We will help them to train them. And then we've not left out the dry season garden. We still support both youth, men and women, to go into the dry season garden. We now have a lot of water system in the place. So we'll do that one to train them, give them training to go into the vegetable during the dry season.
The beneficiaries were excited that they could finally use their vocational skills to create employment for themselves.
I'm a hairdresser, and I get washing machine. Me like this, I don't have that one. I've been using pan to wash. Sometimes If someone comes to do washing, the person will bend the head down and wash. So I bet this time I'll get the wash and maybe I will get more customers because of I have washer now.
I'm a hairdresser in Sandema. The time that I don't have the washing bay, like the proper washing bay like this, someone will come and when you are washing there is a challenge. Maybe the person will say my neck, my hot ones. But now I've got the relaxable washing bay. Now I hope that my customers will feel comfortable and my work will come.
The machine that they have given me, from today onwards, my customers will be comfortable. I will also be comfortable. I will wash the hair without the hair touching anybody. And those machines, there are some tubes that we will just connect so that we use those tubes into the water and just use it to do the washing, and it will be simple for me.
Reporting for Joy News, Albert Sorry, Sandema.
And that's how we part company here on Business Life with me, Pius Kojobaka. For more stories, you can get them on myjoyonline.com/business.